This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast instead of doom scrolling? Smart move. Another smart move? Getting help from one of State Farm's 19,000 local agents when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Experience a membership that backs your business journey with American Express Business Platinum. When you pay with membership rewards points for all or part of an eligible flight booked with a qualifying airline through Amex Travel, you can get 35% of those points back, up to 1 million points back per calendar year. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
Your body isn't a problem to fix. It's a system to support. From PMS to pregnancy to menopause. Ollie's Women's Wellness line is built on real science for every stage. No guilt, no stigmas, just science-backed supplements that work with you, not against you. Choose science over shame. Find support at a retailer near you or on ollie.com. That's OLLY.com.
What's happening, everyone? Welcome back. It's Jay Scott, and it is the Hook Rocks, the Ultimate Rock Community Podcast. Thanks again for tuning in and stopping by. We always do appreciate it, and we also appreciate any reviews that you can leave the show when you're done listening to this episode. We are part of the Pantheon Podcast Network, a great network of music-related podcasts, including the official Metallica podcast, the Metallica Report. You can find them at pantheonpodcast.com, as well as on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Threads at Pantheon Pods, and you can do the same with the Hook Rocks on all four of those platforms. Just search up the Hook Rocks and our new website, thehookrocks.com. Don't forget to set your podcast app to automatic download so you get the latest episode right to your phone. We've had some awesome episodes since the first of the year, but over the last month, we've had Michael Anthony, the ex-bassist from Van Halen, Richie Kotzen. We had High Desert Queen, a great desert rock band out of Texas. We just welcomed Scott Hill from Fu Manchu. We also had Dave Snake Sable from Skid Row. We talked about collecting vinyl with our audio professor Skylab, so check that out. And we had Tyler Bryant from Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown, and John Corabi from the band The Dead Daisies. And we've got a band that I've been wanting to have on for a while. Their album was in my top 10 of the quarter for the first quarter of 2024. Tremendous album, tremendous band from Washington. I'd like to welcome in the band, the full band, Kitsa. What's happening, guys? How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Woohoo! What's up? What's up?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Woo.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
You guys look so energized.
Yeah. We'll leave it there, I guess.
Yeah.
A couple of us went out to play last night, I guess,
Nope.
and I'm not one of them. So,
liar.
yeah.
We don't go to the same place, but
Yeah. I feel you there,
It's-
brother.
I went home early. I slept, the responsible one.
Hey, we met Gunny last night.
That's
You
true.
did.
Oh, no, I was there for
Oh,
Gunny.
yeah, Scott was there for Gunny.
We
Yeah.
met this older veteran. He was just a cool fuck.
Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And he decided to put us under the table.
What were you guys drinking?
We started with Tito's and Jaeger bombs.
That was here.
Yeah.
Then the bright idea, let's go to the bar.
Which is a block away.
That's true. It's close.
Yeah.
Our favorite place to play.
Yeah.
The last 30 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's always cool places like that in every neighborhood, man, where you just tie one on and see a good band, a non-cover band, a real rock band.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, those places are becoming too few and far between.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the time of the cover bands.
Oh, don't get me started. But well, maybe we will get into it eventually in this conversation. Who knows where it'll go? But We always start the same way every time we have a first-time guest on the podcast, and that is really what the show is about. Just like every great rock song has a hook that pulls you in, every rock fan has a moment, whether it's a song, an album, a band, or performance that hooked them on rock and roll. What was it for you guys?
Oh, that's a good question. What got us started?
What hooked you? What hooked you on rock and roll? What was it? A band, an album, a performance, a song?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm gonna go with I was born in New Jersey and I moved out here at like 9 years old. And within the first 3 months, I had a new set of friends and I heard Judas Priest for the first time. And really, Rob Halford could sing his little skinny butt off. So I was really into him. And I really think that made me like distorted guitars, heavy drums. What about you guys?
For me, it was very simple. It was Eddie Van Halen. But the first Van Halen album I ever heard was the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge record. So I'm talking Van Hagar. So at my time of development there, I didn't really understand that they had another singer. And so, but that record with what really hooked me in was obviously Eddie Van Halen, goes without saying, right? But the song Judgment Day on that album is really his just gnarly guitar riffs, the guitar solo. And I love Sammy. Sammy's always been a favorite singer of mine, And then after that, I was hooked. And then a couple of years go by and I realized they had this old other guy named David Lee Roth, and then it just that's where it all started for me, was Van Halen.
Yeah, for me it was, I'm the youngest out of a whole bunch of kids, man. So I got exposed to all sorts of music from my older siblings. But I think what turned me on was definitely, I think it was the Hair of the Dog album by Nazareth. And that one was, cranked up in the living room when the parents were gone, and it just was something about it. And I was like, I need to do something like that in my life, So that was it for me.
Short and sweet. It's probably 9. I think we were living in Ording, Washington. You remember those magazines you get where it would say you could get 100 CD or tapes for a penny?
Yeah.
I robbed my mom's Social Security number at 9, filled the thing out. And so I got to sit there and pick out all my cassettes because I was excited. And I would say I got a lot of Black Sabbath and Ozzy and Iron Maiden. And I think that pretty much started it, because when Mom saw the package come to the door, she's like, what the fuck is this?
The early days of identity theft benefited you.
Yes, I was good at it at 9.
And he's going to get arrested shortly.
Yeah.
Admit that.
I'm really sorry about this episode. My intentions were not to send you up the river.
Yeah, Kitsa's base is locked up. Columbia House or whatever.
Hey, man, I was 9. Statute of limitations.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yes.
I think all our fingers are crossed, especially for the gig tonight, too. Yeah. When you talk about those moments where, you got hooked on rock and roll and all that stuff happened, and we all have our moment. When was it for you guys that you wanted to perform, that you wanted to get on stage and be a performer, be in a band?
I know that moment. I'm Scott. I'm the singer at Kitsa. To answer that for me, I've been playing bass since I was 14. And Geezer Butler, John Paul Jones, for those bands, those guys are just incredible. And I went to a concert with my best friend, and he's like, you know what? We should do that. What do you want to play? And I'm like, I want to play bass. So I've been playing music in front of people since then.
I'm Chris. I play guitar in Kitsa, and I sing when Scott tells me to. Sing. For me, I think it was before I even started playing an instrument. I would the scene in Back to the Future where Marty McFly jumps up on stage during the dance and he plays Johnny Be Good. That was it. I was like, I want to be like that guy. But I was really, really young, and I had like fake guitars that I would just run around the house and play. And like I said, that was before I even picked up an actual guitar. That's when I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be on stage playing a guitar somewhere. That was it. A movie, Back to the Future.
I mean, when you think about it, Marty gave Chuck Berry what he needed to start rock and roll.
Yeah, right. I mean, he changed the course of all of our lives for sure.
Absolutely.
That was it, Marvin Berry.
Sound you've been looking for. Now I gotta watch it.
I know, it's been a while.
I'm Rando on drums. For me, it was early on after I learned of rock and roll and all that stuff, and some of those great albums I listened to. My friend had a brother that was in a band. Of course, they were ahead of us. And I can remember going watching at this party. I snuck out of the house and me and his little brother, because they needed someone to run lights for them, right? And so we're, of course, in the Northwest here, and it's pissing down rain. And we're in this really broken down barn, but they needed to have lights there. And of course, you didn't have the nice stuff that we have nowadays. So they had light switches and like little coffee cans with lights and stuff like that. And here's me and my buddy Chris doing lights for his brother, and we're getting shocked like hell all the way through it. But just watching that and the energy they put out and people, responding to it, how people responded to it, that's when I knew that's what I wanted to do. I just don't want to run lights. I want to be up on stage, have someone else run lights before we get
So
shot.
let me get this right. You got electrocuted a lot, fried your brain, and then you wanted to play music.
Pretty much.
Okay.
That says a lot about me.
That's
really,
heavy,
you guys now know what's wrong with Rando here. So.
Damn electricity.
Yeah.
They'll do something to you. That's for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
J-Bo here, bass. Once again, probably around 8th grade. We did a talent show. My family owned Performance Music in Federal Way. So I just around music all the time. So owned music store in the family. And me and some guys from school, we got together and we did a talent show. We did Duran Duran, Hold Back the Rain. Choreographed the whole thing, set it up, and we took first place at that junior high talent show. And then from then on, that's all I want to do. I want to be on stage.
I thought you were getting ready to do a Bryan Adams song for a second there.
Oh, no, I definitely keyed up to that one. I'm glad you caught that.
When did you get your first real sixth string?
Yes.
Those moments always define us, especially if you fall in love with music as we all have. Everyone in this conversation has a definitive love for the art form. And when you think about it, music is so powerful because it speaks for the listener. Sometimes, we're able to articulate things because of the perspective we learned in a song. What we felt, we learned that emotion because we heard it in a song. How, in terms of connecting with music, how do you stay connected with it? Obviously you're in a band and you're creating music, but you guys are also fans as well. How do you stay connected with what you're hearing, with the genre?
For me, it's about playing live. So we play live and there's 2 or 3 other bands with us, and you find a band you like, you just snap up as much of their catalog as you can, and that introduces you into their scene.
Yeah, I'd say that is a good contributor on podcasts like this too. That when you're at work or whatever, you throw it on, you hear about new things, and so that really helps. That's a really cool thing about technology. So that's kind of how I do it. In social media, stuff like that. The social media helps. It puts it everywhere. You follow the right things, you'll get to know enough of what's going on out there. And then your friends too, right?
Yeah,
we're all fans. And then, we have a group text or something. Somebody's like, you guys listen to this, so your friends inspire you a lot too. My friends do. And bandmates. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I just got turned on to Mimosa, or what the hell was that band's name? God, they're out of Europe. I'll think about it. But it's vinyl, I guess, too. It's like my big thing is I just am a fan of vinyl, so I'm constantly looking for new albums. And that really keeps me connected with what's going on around. Yeah, I'll think of what band I'm trying to think of. Damn it. Told you it was a rough night.
Well, let's talk about the album Dead by Dawn. One of my favorites for the first quarter, like I said, just an absolute holy shit album.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
That's great.
Wow.
There's so many cool elements in this record. I mean, obviously you guys are from Washington, so there's a definite Seattle vibe to it as well. There's a lot of, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, a lot of that in the album, Soundgarden. But there's also like a lot of Sabbath. And there's a lot of influence from that era too, like with Motorhead, Hawkwind, stuff like that. How did you guys all put that together for this record?
We don't know.
I think it's who we are, really, just as a group. I think you named some of our favorites, really.
I think it goes back to what you were just talking about, of being fans and talking about music and, listening to different things certain days of the week, and I think we all kind of we're an interesting kind of bunch as far as each individual musician we have in this band. We we all love the same music, but we all kind of have a different background in a way of where we come from. And I mean, I'm a huge 90s guy, Seattle grunge, Zakk Wylde kind of guy. And my favorite bands like Down and Corrosion and Conformity, stuff like that. That's kind of where I sit most of the time. But then, of course, that prompts you to start listening to like Black Sabbath, because they're definitely very much influenced by that, or Leonard Skinner, so you go back because you can hear those influences. Like Corrosion Conformity just did that cover of On the Hunt, I think about a year ago, and you're like, is this Skinner or is that Pepper Keenan? I don't know, because it's so close, right? So you can see their influences, and that's kind of how the 1-2 punch works with me anyway.
I don't think it's deliberate. I think each of us comes out when we're in the practice studio, and what happens is what happens.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, we put it together, and then during the course of recording this album, we figured out, it started with us kind of, me and Jeremy and then Randy kind of in the room, and then we found Scott, and that by the time we found Scott, we had a lot of songs written, and then we start singing lyrics, and we find out that we can sing together, or we find out something we can do that's really cool that makes it Kitsa. So that's kind of where that creative confusion of mixed up bag of tricks kind of comes from. I think we are just kind of pulling from all places, really, just seeing what we could do.
What was, or how did the sound develop? Was it something that you guys all heard in your head that you wanted to get as close to it or definitively capture it with what's on this record? Or was it getting you guys in the room and just seeing where it goes, and that's where that ended up with the sound of the band?
No, I'll be honest. I didn't think it was, personally myself, I didn't think it was going to go this direction a little bit. And don't ask me which direction I think it was going to go.
I was just about to.
But with that said, I think, Chris had majority of the meat of this. He had the direction. He had the kind of already the
guitar
riff,
sound
just
for
ready to go. And I think we just kind of nice. What I do like about this group of guys is we're not looking to have a certain sound like someone or in a certain genre. That's why whenever it started becoming, we started getting all these hits from these podcasts or places that are like, yeah, well, you're stoner doom. I'm like, what the hell is that? I never thought we're going to be stoner doom or we're going to be, hard rock or metal. We were just like Scott said earlier, we're going to put this together and see what it sounds like. And it came out, like I said, really organic. But I think for your question, I think most of the direction and the meat of it was definitely from Pound.
Yeah,
Chris.
It starts off kind of with that. And I send now how it works is and kind of this, it's kind of the same way. I just come up with a couple things, I throw them at J-Bo, he starts riffing around on the bass, and then everybody kind of starts feeling the ideas, and then we put together a structure. So that's kind of how it goes. And then Randy puts the drums down, and there's that foundation, and we kind of move the pieces around then, and Scott provides a lot of input. And then we also, think about the singer we have. We're lucky to have the voice, so when we hear ourselves playing something heavy, we go, let's put the brakes on immediately and let him take over with that beautiful voice, So this is things we just figured out. It's just things we figured out, and it is really weird that it's hard to explain because it is so organic and pretty natural how we do those things. And these guys do put up with me going, hey, I just put down this riff, at my computer, check it out. And then I send it in a text, and, often that's kind of how it starts. It's just from one single riff, and then these guys throw it around in the blender.
Lyrically, Scott, how do you approach when you get the riff? You get, do you hear melodies? Do you kind of scat a little bit to try to find the words that fit the melody? I know I've had a couple conversations over the last month with like Richie Kotzen, I know does that. And there's a couple others will just mumble, melodies, and then they'll formulate words from the mumbling.
For me, the first thing that happens, Rando may write a poem, and if I see the lyrics anywhere near me, when they start playing the song, I'm just singing straight what he wrote. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. When it doesn't write, or the easiest thing for me is when, after you've heard the song a few times, when I finally know what the song is about, the rest comes easy. But it does take a minute for me to go, oh, what is this song about? The next song is going to be about Gunny. You missed out.
That's for us.
We could have ended up on a sailboat in the Sound.
And we would never make the show because they would have never come back.
Dangerously close to a boat ride in the middle of the night. I'm glad we avoided
With
that.
a 73-year-old dude, you guys.
73-year-old Marine.
Yes, you guys would have been on a milk carton.
It sounds like the Kitsa version of Hangover.
It got close.
Yes.
Yeah. Luckily, we said, you know what? We need to cut this night short and get out of here. Somebody had a good idea there. So.
It wasn't me.
I did because I left. All right. You guys, I left y'all there, so.
No, you would have woke up this morning. Someone would have been missing. There would have been a tiger in your studio, and
that's horrible.
We would have needed somebody to just hold me up behind the microphone so we could have Weekend at Scott's.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like we were just talking about, kind of like a sidebar conversation about how those guys in the 70s and 80s and 90s were so dependent on alcohol and drugs that they were able to get on stage and just do it. And then off stage, they were just completely like annihilated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I got to have water.
Yeah, well, they were, also they had such a untapped well of stuff that was going on in the world back then, and you just couldn't go wrong being super high on acid or, I mean, that was a messed up time, but they had so much they could, and, that's how it was. For us nowadays, you got to kind of watch out what you do, or else you will wake up on a sailboat next day in the middle of Puget Sound.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Yeah. So,
well, and we're independent artists, doing pretty much everything on our own, and I think those bands maybe back in those days, you had labels forking out tons of money, and they could afford to, they didn't have to go to work on Tuesday. We have to have a real life as well. So, they probably could be a little bit more dependent on drugs and alcohol. We kind of have to keep it together so we can make it to the stage, tonight.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, music equipment isn't cheap.
Yeah, and nobody's going to drive us there tonight.
And it's heavy.
Yeah. Nobody's going to drive us there.
Yeah, we don't got the
taking
bus.
care of us. We have to get there. So
Yeah, and there's no rock band Uber.
right.
No, that's for sure.
That'd be
That's
rad.
a great
That's a
idea.
business idea right there.
Rock band Uber, I'm into
Oh,
it.
$1 million
Comes-
idea.
Comes with a trailer for your equipment.
Yeah.
And a driver. Yes.
And a driver, yeah. Gunny is the driver.
Yo, yeah. Sure.
I don't even know the guy. I wasn't there last night, but I'll tell you what, we ain't having Gunny do shit for us. So Sorry.
I don't think he
I
could.
bet you
He couldn't even pack the gear he sold.
No, I know. Maybe you shouldn't drive.
Oh shit!
When you guys were recording this album, did you feel that what you were accomplishing was going to resonate and connect with people? I mean, obviously, you guys are an independent band, and there's still a mountain to be climbed, right? But when you think about the material on this album and the way it was produced, the songs, the music, I mean, who would have thought that myself and others, who, I mean, I'm in Chicago, would be getting this vinyl and listening to it? I mean, I heard it from a word of mouth, like, a group that I belong to. Someone said, "Let's check out this band," and then everybody kind of checked it out, and everybody got on board with it. But I just see other people, whenever I post about the album, or I see other people post about the album on social media, there's always comments like, "Oh, love this album, love this record." I mean, that's amazing for an independent band in Washington to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's amazing to us too. I think it was at first for us, it was just like, oh, I think we might have something here, and we might be able to, play with the Mighty Moss Generator, or that would be cool if we
get on a festival,
or might get on something like that.
Yeah.
For me personally, not at all.
Yeah,
I wasn't thinking about anyone outside of the room.
Yeah, I didn't think that we would have near as much, success or love or attention drawn to us. We just kind of went in and made songs and recorded them, and but I guess when we first break out a song like Downhill, and you play that a couple times live, and every time somebody sees you, they start going, "Shit rolls downhill." You're like, oh, maybe we got something here. Maybe Scott figured something out.
We're stuck with that one forever.
That's kind of our anthem, I guess.
I'm looking forward to the animated video for that.
Yes.
Oh, the images in my head.
That's
pretty simple.
I'm thinking South Park, man.
Totally. Just the constant hill of shit rolling down it.
Oh my god. Oh,
that's excellent.
Ugh. Gosh.
But when you talk about, you mentioned before with stoner rock and being labeled as that, but essentially for me, stoner rock is what metal was when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of stuff in the late 70s and early 80s, and I've said this on my podcast several times, it has elements obviously of Sabbath and Deep Purple and Mountain is another band too as well. But it also takes a lot from the new wave of British heavy metal.
True.
When you think of those bands like Tank and Diamond Head and what basically spawned thrash, there's a lot of elements in this. And then we look at, bands like Saxon too as well. And
I saw that with Jesus Priest not long ago.
Really?
Yeah. But it's plug and play. It's simple in the aspect that it's not beefed up by technology. And I think the stoner rock genre, the title of it is cool in some aspects, but I think it makes what you guys do in other bands misunderstood. Because I think when people think that, they think of a haze of smoke and tie-dye t-shirts and stuff like that. Right. And they don't understand, like, this is what metal was, the core of metal in the beginning. This is what this whole genre is basically doing.
I like your explanation.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's spot on.
It makes sense because a lot of people think when you say metal, people are thinking like metal or like
the growling, the Cookie Monster singing.
Right. You're thinking Lamb of God, you're thinking bands in that kind of genre. And so that I think that's what it is. It's metal. It's heavy rock and metal are kind of, to me, synonymous. So that was a good explanation.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, I think the major difference between what bands in the genre are doing versus the old school metal days is, I think with the new bands now, there's a little bit more fuzz in it than maybe before. There wasn't a lot of fuzz and stuff like, at least I can't think of anything off my head, like Saxon or something like that. But no, it's in the world where we see way too much technology in music where the lack of authenticity is not there. When you have a genre that is basically what this is, I mean, it is denim and leather, plug and play, good time. And that's the thing that's been so impressive about the bands is there's so much love of people in the bands for this music that they do it for pure love.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it is. So, we didn't go out, like I said before, to get some sort of certain label on us. We just know we're in the same idea of what music we love, what we put out, and we just did it. I guess the rest is left for the world to label you.
He's completely lying. We got together in a think tank, sat in a room, drinking too much coffee and smoking, and thought, how do we take over the world? Yeah, right. This was the sound we came up with. Are you Gene Simmons? No, I'm Pinky or the Brain. Okay, all right.
He's mixing it all together.
Yeah. We're just nerds. Really.
Yeah, but it's just, I think when the whole mass of music is going in this direction of technology,
yeah,
I think we get further and further away from the art form when we do that.
Absolutely.
And when you have a genre, whether it's stoner rock, desert rock, and there's also, blues rock is there's a lot of great blues rock artists that are just, plug and play into the amp, maybe a couple pedals here and there, but there's nothing that's manipulating the sound, on a computer or on a program. And I wish more people would appreciate it. And I know we kind of touched on a little bit of like the cover band phenomenon. When you see cover bands living off the backs of other people's music, using modulators to sound like the guitar player in this band and then the next song in this band and playing the tracks, and then people going out to see these bands who are doing this, it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Although I agree, currently we live in a world where you could pay $600 for tickets to go see your favorite band from yesteryear, when I can go down to the local bar and see a cover band do the same stuff for $15. Taking my girl out with me, I still might be less than $100 at the end of the night. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Well, and then to that point too, you pay that $600 to go watch backing tracks.
Yeah,
it's kind of lame.
Yeah, it's an interesting time because I understand your point, Scott, of with ticket prices being so outrageous and the majority of the bands not really playing the instruments or doing a live show. I understand the attraction to a cover band. My biggest beef is always when it affects the local original rock scene like it has.
Yeah.
That's when I think, we've kind of gotten off the rails a little bit.
I can't argue that at all.
Luckily, though, around here, honestly, there are some good places still.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I was watching the documentary Hype about Seattle. It was done in like 97, something like that. I was watching it, and I see I know a lot of the local places are closed, but like the Central's still there, and we have a lot of good places around here that are just for original music, and we're lucky that even though the spotlight on the scene of Seattle isn't the same as it was like in the 90s, that scene is still very much here. It's very punk rock still.
Yep.
A lot of metal.
A lot of metal. But the clubs still exist because of it. There's still a lot of bands around here, and it's just not in the spotlight as it once was. So we're kind of lucky. We're kind of lucky to have that here.
Agreed. We have it.
So I can think of a couple places right now that we could probably call, and they'd be like, "Yep, come on down." Because they just know us, and they all they'll do is have original acts in there.
How does that affect how you create music when you are so close to Seattle? That was a scene that defined part of a generation, at least. And you have these bands that are still thought of today as some of the best bands in rock history. When you're creating music, how does that impact what you want to do and how you want to play?
Well, I think at least some of us, if not all of us, were in the 90s music scene here in Seattle. So obviously it's going to affect us because we were there and listening to it. But because we were participating, I don't think it's as taboo isn't the right word. I don't think it has the exact same effect on us because it's not like we're outside looking in. You know, we were inside at when there wasn't inside, we were inside there. So
yeah,
in different
that's
projects.
True. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. It's a little bit different. Yeah, we're not trying to aim for anything, but
just
but
to be
just
proud of ourselves.
You know, like Scott said earlier, so you get these little pieces from all these different acts, and that's how we put it in our library. That what we could bring out later, some of the cooler things that never got out there mainstream. You know, none of the Alice in Chains, none of the, you know, some of the other bands like maybe Sweetwater or something like that, or
12:30 Dreams.
Come on, man. You know, all the other local
amazing.
ones. So, yeah, it's
yeah.
I don't think it's intimidating either or anything like that. It doesn't, like, you know, we're not trying to measure ourselves against all that because it was a different time, you know. So we just kind of embrace that we are from here and that's our scene, and like I'm proud to be playing in some of these places around here and just, you know, lucky to be there. You know,
a lot of history, for sure.
It's just very cool to be from the Northwest. I don't let that affect us. I just think that it's cool, you know.
Yeah.
How do you guys find your internal connection with your music? I mean, the audience connects with your music and they kind of decide how they connect with what you do. But you, for, you know, creating it, you have to connect with it as well in a different way. You know, when you're knowing that it's ready to be recorded, knowing that it's ready to be on an album, how do you find that connection?
I think we talk a lot about a song, like an individual song. We end up sitting down and we really talk about what it is going to mean or the feeling that we're putting.
The emotions. It's emotional. It's very emotional. You got, you know, you'll channel it or you'll hear something someone's doing and it'll kind of reach down inside you. And maybe I'll hit something a little bit harder or try something a little bit different. And of course, for J-Bo and I, we're really the base of this band. It's about Chris and Scott and their power, but we just try to bring that out in them, and then our emotions come out that way. That's the way I kind of connect with it, and I think we all feed off each other emotionally.
Yeah, I would say that. It's a lot of conversations, I think, too, and we're rare. This band communicates really well. It's probably all the bands I've ever been in. It's like this was instant. All of us are pretty level-headed. Sometimes we're not, but but I mean, as far as the band goes, we take it pretty serious. So the conversations are real. You know, it's real stuff that you're listening to coming out.
And also, it comes down to, like, you know, you kind of asked the question earlier, like finding melodies and stuff like that. So we'll kind of start talking about the premise or the concept, and a lot of times we'll have the music already, and then we'll all just kind of be sitting here listening to it, and you know, I'll bounce some melodies over to Scott too. You know, I'll be like, what about this? Or he'll have like 3 or 4 lines, and then I'll be like, what if we pick a couple of words? Yeah, lyrics. Yes, lyrics.
Thanks for clarifying.
Lyrics. We have lyrics in there.
Where are them lines at?
We don't do that. We're professional.
We have a song that's going to be on our next album, and lyrically how it came out was once the music was mostly done, minus, you know, some alterations here and there, it was me sitting where Rando is, listening to Chris and J-Bo rattle off about politics and picking out words. Or
I forgot about that conversation.
It was just, this is how it's going. Okay, thanks for sharing it. And now we were all there for the process. So I think that connects us, you know. Oh, I said that one thing. Scott put that in the song. Oh, I see how he tied that together. You know, crap like that.
And then I'll think of how we can kind of break up cadences and stuff a lot. We work a lot kind of together on that, you know, just so we're not singing the same melody over and over and over.
As a bass player, cadence is very important to me. So sometimes it's not even so much about the melody of the song as opposed to what's the cadence going to be. How do I want to get these ideas out? And that works. Yeah.
What song, in your opinion, on this album?
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast instead of doom scrolling? Smart move. Another smart move? Getting help from one of State Farm's 19,000 local agents when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Experience a membership that backs what you're building with American Express Business Platinum. Enjoy complimentary access to the American Express Global Lounge Collection and apply to find out your welcome offer, which could be as high as 300,000 membership rewards points. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Terms apply. Welcome offers vary, and you may not be eligible for an offer. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
At Ollie, we've got wellness down to a science. From PMS to pregnancy to menopause, our women's wellness line offers science-backed support for every stage. No judgment, no shame, none of the stigma. Just supplements designed to meet you wherever you're at. Ollie, choose science over shame. Find support at a retailer near you or on ollie.com. That's OLLY.com.
There's so many. I mean, gosh, I'm just thinking of the songs in my head right now. But what would be the most representative of who you guys are?
Oh, you're gonna get.
Oh wow, that's rough.
All right, for me, I'm gonna say the Koi hate mix, and that's just because when we started writing the songs, the first time we played it live, because they're the first and second song of our set currently, Chris was playing Koi, and I'm noticing him. It's basically a finger warm-up exercise on stage live before the show starts, even though it's after the show starts. So I took my vocals, and I'm like, I'm just going to make noise and warm up my voice. If you can do it, I can do it too. I like that. But for me, that's the truth. But for me, that is representative of the band. Somebody had an idea. Somebody else stacked on top of it. Any other?
I think that's pretty close. I really feel like the ones where we really sit and what is the best representative is the hate, the Journeyman, and the She stuff. Like Journeyman is a good representative of what we really are. I think, a baseline because it's got everything that we have put into each one of the other songs, but all in one song. So there's a lot of harmonizing vocals. There's a hook in that grabs your attention. Then there's heavy parts. There's calm parts. There's guitar solos. So I think really that's kind of that was probably the best representative of who we are musically on this record.
I'm going to go with those two.
Yeah, I mean, and I think once we had the record done, we all kind of went, hey, that's where it is, like that. Some of the songs, like I said, before Scott had come in or on board, so they're kind of earlier interpretations. And then, once we were all as a working unit, it kind of changed. So, but yeah, I would say that Journeyman or those last three songs on the record are pretty much what we are.
Yeah, that's a good representation of what we are.
Yeah.
I think though that I think we really became a full band at the making of Dead by Dawn. Actually, I think that was a real turning point. That particular song, it just happened like instantly. We were at Rando's house doing acoustic practice.
Yeah, we were playing acoustic.
And that song, it came out and it developed like so fast, and it was I love that song for some reason. I didn't like it at first, to be honest with you. I couldn't stand it. And then
because Scott kept screwing around with it, saying, he kept saying it like, what was that?
He's
Bon
gonna give me
Jovi.
Bon Jovi crap.
Yeah. No, he'll do it live too.
Yeah.
He'll start singing Bon Jovi. I like it.
It's a song about cowboys. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Come on, man. I mean, that's Wanted Dead or Alive.
Together was like, I think for a band it was amazing. Just as a group, and that one just really just snapped, and it grew on me.
It was one of the ones kind of towards the end of the writing sessions for the album.
Yeah.
So we had really kind of started to blossom with the harmonies and the singing and the back and forths and the just. It's really weird because that song in particular is like the only song that doesn't get really that much mention, but it is one of my favorites.
See, I think it does get mentioned. I've heard about it.
I feel like it's like the underrated song on the album,
Yeah,
I wouldn't go underrated. I would go unexpected.
Okay.
Unexpected.
Just because it doesn't sound...
Right.
It sounds like us, but it doesn't sound like us.
Band fight.
Man, if that's the worst fighting we do, we fucking rock.
Yeah. Check in with us again about 10:30.
We'll do part 2.
Yeah,
there you go.
That'll be the after show stage.
Shoot us a text and we'll show you the aftermath.
I'll be slurring.
I'll be sleeping in the van.
Yeah.
I think the song that connected with me first was the title track, Dead by Dawn. That's when I turned the volume knob a little bit higher. I'm like, huh.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
This is the good shit right here. And then it just kind of grew from there. I mean, you talk about Koi, you talk about Journeyman. I mean, I've had people tell me who are not even fans of instrumentals how much they like Koi. And
that trips me out because I see a lot of that, and I'm just like, who would have thought?
Yeah.
It's like it being in bands for 30 years and many, many shows, and it just works somehow. This little piece of music that we came up with, and it actually sets the tone for the
really
evening.
agree with that. I think
Scott will come wandering out of the crowd with his wireless microphone. He takes the stage. People go ape shit, and we go into hate. Yeah, it's just perfect.
It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
they made me get wireless.
I
like the wireless, man.
We were always stepping on our cords. We move around too much.
Matter of fact, someone kept stepping on and unplugging it.
Oh, not only that, the microphone stands go flying down, and then they hit your pedal board, and everything goes off.
Oh yeah, I remember all that now.
We've had some learning.
We had some. Yeah.
Okay, when you say it like that.
Well, if you go to a Black Label Society show, Zakk Wylde goes into the crowd at one point in the show. Yes. And he's got a guy following him with his long ass cord throughout the whole crowd. And it's like you're ducking down so you don't get clotheslined by the cord. And all I keep thinking, because I've seen Black Label several times, every time he does it, I go, does Zakk know that there's wireless technology?
Yeah.
Completely missed this. He doesn't have to do the chord through the crowd.
He's one of my favorite guitar players, heavily influenced by. I love Black Label Society. I actually have a patch on my somewhere. Black Label BLS right there. Yeah. But he's a purist. He's very old school, right? So a lot of those guys will think that it affects their tone, and I'm sure at one point it did, but I don't know. Lately, we've
been doing tests at Tony's, and it does not affect tone at all.
The technology and what they have now, it makes it way better. I mean, I've had different wireless before, and the one I just got uses the 2.8 gig and the 5 gig bands.
They're great.
It's rad. It works pretty perfect, and I can not step on my cord during the middle of a solo.
Technical jargon.
Yeah, technical nerd stuff. But yeah, Zakk is very old school, right? He's a knob roller. He doesn't use very many pedals. He's like got one pedal out in front of that. Well, it used to be a JCM 800. It's probably Wild Audio now, but I bet you he's pretty much one of those guys like it affects your tone. I know Mark Tremonti's like that too. He's got a 300-foot cable. I'm like, that doesn't affect your tone? That's got to affect your tone too, right?
Seeing Black Label, it's like 0 to 60 in a matter of seconds of just pure adrenaline for the whole hour and a half that they play. I mean, it's nothing but just adrenaline.
Yeah, the last time I saw him, like, somehow smash my way all the way up front. And they always open, with some song that has kind of an intro, and that curtain's up, and it's dark, and it's freaking out, and then all of a sudden it drops, and the lights come on, and you're right, it's from nothing to 4 million miles an hour in a blink of an eye. And it's my favorite thing, honestly. I'm not going to lie, I love it.
It's the rush of just having that in your face, man. It's killer. Yeah,
I hope someday.
Well, that's why I think a lot of times too, bands today, man, they don't understand like that need to kick the audience in the balls, the moment you get on stage.
Then you own them.
I mean, and as a fan of live music, I want to be kicked in the nuts, when a band gets on the stage. I want that feeling of like, hell yeah, this is what we're here for. Let's do it. And like sometimes bands come out and you're like, okay, that was good. But it doesn't grab you right away, and I think that's kind of like a lost art with a lot of newer rock bands than before.
Scott's a showman,
yeah.
So I mean, he kicks it off really, and then he gets me and Chris running around the goddamn stage, just
maybe we're not
having fun. So it's like
we're not kicking it right then, but
we come out with an instrumental, so we probably bore a lot of people right off.
No, but it's right. It's
the build up, though. That's the build up.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
That creates the anticipation.
Yeah.
And then it goes right into hate.
Yeah.
So I mean,
in your face.
Clay's lingerie.
Yeah, pretty much. We're taking the lingerie out.
But you like to see the gift wrapping.
Wow.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
Very nice.
Just my thought.
I am on board with that point of view.
It's getting sexy in here now.
We're getting sexy, man.
But that is really what's magical about. I was talking with Joe Hottinger from Hailstorm, and he brought up something that was really cool. He talked about creating moments on stage, and through energy, through creating anticipation, that's how moments are created, and that's what a crowd remembers after they're out of the show, out of the club. 2 days later, when they're talking to their friends, like, remember when this band did this? Remember when that band did that? I think that is performance, and I think that goes with the music. And if your music kicks ass like Kitsa's does, the moments will be there for the audience, and it'll be memorable. And then people tell people about the moments, and then people come, and it creates like this community of just anticipation of need for your music.
Appreciate those compliments. I know we've got I know that we know this. We've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
I think just keeping true to ourselves and our style and our music and keeping that going. And then now we got to translate it. For us, it's translating it to the stage, because right now it's, we're J-Bo and I are trying to hold it together really tight, have that professional sound, when you're up there live, because you get so many of these bands that are just going wild and you just can't, they don't hit it together. And Scott and Chris, they're great up there on the show. The show is fantastic, but we have work to do at that, to just exactly how you described it, to get that anticipation up, to deliver the kick to the nards,
We have those moments, though. It depends on what's going on, right? Like, the beginning is really cool, and then we just roll right into like downhill. We keep it strong, right in the beginning. But then like towards the end, we're starting to play like and there's that beginning riff, the beginning intro, and I'll stop and wait and stare at the crowd and go, you guys need to be louder, or I'm not going to continue playing, let's go, start to get them riled up. Okay, I'll start playing, and then I'll start the song. We kind of play around. We're getting more comfortable playing around and finding those moments, definitely on stage, like you said, to create. There's got to be those moments, Maybe I'll walk around out in the crowd, I'll get 100-foot cable.
Just do it when there's 1,000 people, not 10.
Yeah, put your wireless aside. Get that 100-foot cable.
Yeah,
man.
no, I'm going to deal with nobody shows up.
Yeah, so that's even more fun there.
I'm going to go sit down at a table.
I think one of the most kick-ass moments that I've seen recently is I saw the Starbenders up in Wisconsin, and they're from Georgia, and they're kind of like this glam meets punk meets. It's really cool. It's a It's a really cool band, very theatrical. And Kimmy Shelter, the singer, she's got like this cool attitude, like a rock star attitude. And she's trying to do, she's doing some like crowd interaction. And she goes, you guys need to get fucking louder because when I go back to Georgia, I don't want to tell them that Wisconsin sucks.
Oh, nice.
Yes, that's fucking beautiful right there. Fucking that's awesome.
Yeah,
I like
there
that.
you go.
Right
like
in
that.
the balls.
Yep, locked it in the vault. That's right.
We need more of that. That's the energy that I want. Everyone, just seems sometimes, not everyone, but there's a lot of young artists. I just don't think they understand that need to have a little bit of an attitude on stage.
Have fun, man.
Yeah.
That's what rock and roll is. It's go out and have fun.
You got to have an attitude.
You got to have
an
all
attitude.
that. And if you don't have that, why even do it?
It's because of, like you said earlier, the move towards technology, right? Everybody just wants to be in the studio anyway. And they just, one thing I think for us, our funnest thing is playing live.
Yeah.
Towards the end of recording Dead by Dawn, I think I was so wore out from just recording more than just going out and playing shows back to back because
it's pressure.
Yeah, it's pressure. You got to nail it. And just the live show's the funnest part. We interact with people, and I think that's a big thing that's missing because of technology. People aren't having fun on stage because they're too busy running their laptops and their click tracks and all that kind of stuff to make sure it sounds perfect, or whatever, so they sound like Leonard Skinner.
I like happy mistakes.
Yeah.
Live.
Portion of the conversation he didn't say is it was really stressful because we were working with Tony Reed, and Tony will get what he needs out of you.
No matter
if he
what.
Cares. If he cares.
If he cares.
If he cares,
that's
yeah.
cold.
There was one time where he's like, we're moving on to another part. You don't have that today. All right. I was like, go home, come back tomorrow. Let's finish the rest of it.
Go do your homework,
Yeah,
kid.
it was like that. He's like, you don't have it today, man. I was like, okay, cool. That doesn't make me feel any pressure. Then, then the next day you're like, I have it today, man. I got it,
Attitude.
Yeah. I think that made me nervous, and I hear that part on the record. I get nervous.
And you relive it every time.
Yeah, it's PTSD. I get to that point in the record, and I'm like, don't screw up. I'm like, wait, it's recording.
You guys have such a different relationship. I know me
like
and J-Bo have been recording with Tony for decades. So for me, if I don't like going into the studio. So if I have to, I prefer to go with Tony. I don't feel
it's comfortable for me. Yeah. It's like I'm at home right here.
I like going in the
studio.
studio, but after, I think it's more important to play live and have a good live show.
Absolutely.
I enjoy playing live more.
Yeah, I do.
If you make a mistake live, it came and went. In the studio, it just sits there. Like, on the street.
He plays it back a couple times. You hear that?
Yeah.
That's you messing up, bud. Try it again.
Here, there's nobody else on this track.
Yeah, he'll isolate you.
Solo.
I will get the do it again.
Yeah.
I think
I feel like I'm just like a fly on the wall of like of you guys reliving the heartache of recording. Like this is like a therapy session.
You bent that note too much. Okay.
That man is underrated in this scene.
Absolutely.
And he is like, I love almost everything he's ever put on vinyl.
Well,
I have all of it. I've put vinyl out for him. It's like he is such a hardworking musician.
Absolutely.
And I don't think people understand,
and he's also a hardworking producer and engineer. Like
everything.
We were doing like he's a mad scientist. We'd be sitting there and we'd be doing like when we were doing Koi, he would be like, hold on a minute. And, he'd walk away and you'd hear rustling around somewhere and he rolls out this cabinet from 1908 or whenever. It's like the first
It's one big
cabinet
giant
ever
tube.
made. Yeah. It looks like the flux capacitor and shit, and another Back to the Future reference.
Yeah, that song, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and then he's got like a Variac on it. Speakers are spinning that Leslie cab, and you're like, "All right." And he's like, "Try this." And you're like, "Okay, all right, let's try it."
Yeah.
So that is the ear that makes good things better in the studio for sure.
Yeah, and he found something in Kitsa that he liked, because Tony doesn't just produce anybody. And I think we're probably one of the few bands that he's
not in.
Put that much interest into.
There was more to that.
We're blessed. We're blessed.
We're very blessed with having him.
Something that no one said when we were talking about influences is I think that Tony, in different projects, doing different things, has influenced all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
So you guys are okay with a little bit of tension in the studio. You know, it makes you guys better at what you guys want to accomplish.
Yeah. Well, not only are we big fans of his, but also if you listen to every instrument that guy plays, it's probably better than what we can do or anybody else that you ever heard play. I mean, the guy's a master at everything he does, right? Some people can fiddle around here and there and stuff like that. And especially for me, because his main instrument was drums. And so whenever it came down to recording drums, it was like, here we go.
I think you had the hardest job.
I had the hardest, absolutely.
Yeah.
And he set up a little trap kit next to my kit in the studio, and we tunneled the kick drum with 2 different kick drums, and he bought this certain kit just for this sound, you know, with concert toms and stuff like that. And then he'd sit next to me. He'll come in and he'll say, I hear what you're doing there, but I think you get more power. How about you do this beat right here? And even though it's a simple beat, but it's coming from him, and it's really fucking me up, man. It's really hurting my feelings, you know. I'm like, God damn, you're right. Why didn't I think about that, you know? But no, he's just great at everything he does, and we respect him so much. I know the rest of the world does that, has that opportunity to listen to Tony and what he puts out, and a lot of people that know him within the music industry.
Yeah, he gets huge props for sure.
He's fantastic.
But I just feel like he is like, he should be way, way up there.
I think to the angst thing too, you know, when you're trying to create a good record and then you have somebody, we're lucky to have him pushing us, you know, that angst comes in. So you're trying, you know, to make everything just perfect, write good songs and make it worth it, because you know if you work hard that it's going to come out great. And I think that's our attitude, you know. We're working on the newer stuff now, and we're already doing those things now, like in pre-production, kind of focusing on every little part already as we write them, so we're more prepared. That angst is still there now, and we're not even really in the studio; we're just in our practice space.
Yeah.
So
it's like, now we're like, Rah!
Yeah, we're like, we know what's going to come next, you know. So there's a little bit of that. It's not our freshman season anymore, you know. It's our sophomore year. So, but the angst definitely helped us because we're so anxious just to put out our first record, you know, and we did it in a really short amount of time. So it definitely helped us push through and make a really cool record.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it sounds like in this case, in other cases, that a good producer raises your own internal bar of what you guys are looking for. Like, I've asked this question of a lot of artists who've gone independent or produced themselves. And, you know, one of the questions I always ask, does working with this producer or that producer help define what your expectations need to be when you're doing a demo, when you're writing a song, like when you're doing the arrangement, because you know what the perspective is that you've just dealt with recording an album or recording however many albums. And I think a lot of artists today, some of them don't have that internal expectation or that bar because they've never worked with a producer like Tony Reed or someone like that caliber that gets the most out of you, which in turn, now you guys know how to get the most out of yourselves. And then the other aspect is having a set of ears that are different than yours that maybe is not as close to it, can offer a different perspective or hear something different that serves the song.
Yeah.
It's been a good ride.
I would have to say that 2023 was great for us. We went from not a full band to releasing our first record, having positive rumors started about us and things like that. I think 2023 was great, and I'm hoping 2024 is better.
It's looking to be, my friend. It's looking to be.
Are you guys going to be playing outside your area? Are you guys planning on going to more of a national approach with your music?
We will go wherever they'll let us go.
Yeah, we haven't really had many opportunities to get out of town, but we surely would love to.
We take all of the.
I got a Sprinter van. I'm sure we can get there. Yeah, wherever it may be.
Yeah. I think we got our first out-of-state show coming.
Yeah, the one in Oregon.
Yeah,
August.
Next door in Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon. We're getting out slowly but surely.
Yeah, we're trying to spread our wings more, and hopefully with the record out now, and it's been out for a while, it has pretty positive feedback. Hopefully that'll help that. We're hoping.
Well, the desert rock, stoner rock genre itself, that has a lot of festivals.
Yeah. We'd love to.
And we're hoping to get on some of those.
Yes.
Call us, guys. We're available.
If you need an opening band.
Yes, we're desperate.
For now.
Yeah.
No.
The farther away, the better.
Beggars can't be choosers, man. Let's go.
Yes.
How is the scene where you're at? Are you getting good audiences in your show?
I would think that
Hometown's killer.
Yeah.
Over here, I don't think we've had a bad show ever.
Yeah, and it's really weird. The surrounding areas sometimes will have a really good turnout, or then the sun comes out for the first time of the year in the Pacific Northwest, and nobody wants to go to a concert. They want to be out on a boat.
I was looking at Aurora Borealis, for instance.
And slipping on seaweed.
Weird.
I think we do really well in small towns.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. We do pretty good in the surrounding area, you know.
It seems like the rural area is like party. The city is like whatever. So tonight should be a ripper.
Yeah, tonight should be a good show.
Well, just no more boat trips in the middle of the night.
That's right.
We might have a boat trip in Yelm, and there ain't no water.
Yeah, no water over there. You might have a boat trip.
Yeah.
It'll be a trip, but not the way you're thinking.
Into the
Just
fire.
don't trip into, I was going to say.
Into the fire.
That's all.
What's on tap for you guys next? What's going on?
J-Bo?
Let's find out.
You want
to? There's some rumors floating around about a label that wants to put out the 2025 record. We've worked on new art.
Working on a cover right now.
We got 2 covers. One is possibly coming out on a Rush compilation of bands. So that's as far as I'm going to say. I won't tell you what song, but we've pretty much finished that. That's getting wrapped up. And then I think since we're doing a 2025 album release, that we're just going to kind of stick with covers for singles and maybe put one out late August, September, hopefully, of a different band. Bad Company, maybe.
Yeah, Bad Company. We're constantly writing music, you know. But it's just like anything else. When you come up with a record or something like that, it just doesn't. You can't just put it out overnight. You know what I mean? There's a lot of work that goes into it. But we're about halfway into our next album already.
And excited about it. I mean, the hopes of being on a very nice label, I think that kind of elevates our attitude towards getting things done. And it's a lot of work, really. And having a 9 to 5, well, actually mine's more like 4 to 10.
Oh, let's not talk about that.
Yeah, and then you come home and it's like, oh, I need to.
The whole world is waking up and you want to take a nap.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's we're busy for sure.
But we're still following our dreams, man. You know, it's still that whenever, like you said, when we first got started, what inspired us? Why did we want to be on stage? And I still every day, you know, I know we talk about it. We listen to people on the radio, or you see a video or something online. These guys they're doing it for their life, you know. And I think I don't care. And me and Tony have this conversation all the time. Is we always talk about our age, you know, we're getting up there and blah, blah, blah. And it's age. I get it. It has something to do with stuff, but I'm not giving up just because I turn a certain age, man. I'm here to rock and roll, and
We're all still 12.
I still want to, yeah, exactly. I still want to live that. I'm still gonna keep fighting for that dream, and I think all of us have that idea.
I'm still breathing, so I'm still going for it.
Yep.
Well, guys, it's been a blast. Thanks again for the conversation. Thanks again for the time. The new album is awesome. I absolutely love it. But thank you again.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate your time. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, awesome. Fun, for sure.
Everyone, that is Kitsa. You can find all their links in the show notes in the podcast. So while you're listening or when you're done listening, click on those links. It'll take you to their social media, take you to their website, and go explore. Kitsa is a great band, great up-and-coming band, and get their new album, Dead by Dawn. It's absolutely fantastic. Once again, I'm Jay Scott. This has been another episode of the Hook Rocks, the Ultimate Rock Community Podcast. Take care of each other, stay safe, and we will talk soon. Thank you.
Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending, 0 tears. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
The right window treatments change everything. Your sleep, your privacy, the way every room looks and feels. At Blinds.com, we've spent 30 years making it surprisingly simple to get exactly what your home needs. We've covered over 25 million windows and have 50,000 5-star reviews to prove we deliver. Whether you DIY it or want a pro to handle everything from measure to install, we have you covered. Real design professionals, free samples, zero pressure. Right now, get up to 45% off site-wide, plus get a free professional measure at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions apply.
The Viore Core Short moves with you. With everyday versatility and classic athletic fit. It's the one short for everything your day brings. Invest in your happiness and get 20% off your first purchase at Viore.com/core20. That's VUORI.com/KORE20. Exclusions apply. Visit the website for full terms and conditions.